The London air was thick with frost that morning, the kind that clung to windows and turned breath into tiny clouds. Inside the rattling cab, 7-year-old Sara Crewe pressed her gloved hands against the cold glass, her green eyes wide as she took in the towering gray buildings and the endless stretch of gloomy sky. Next to her, Captain Ralph Crewe adjusted his daughter's scarf, his heart heavy. "What are you thinking about, Sara?" he asked gently. "You've been very quiet." Sara turned from the window, her dark curls framing her solemn face. "I was thinking about home," she murmured. "About the banyan trees in the garden and how the sun made everything gold in the evenings. I don't think I like England very much, Father." Captain Crewe sighed, pulling her closer. "I know, my dear. But London has fine schools, and you must learn to be a proper young lady. And I must return to India soon." Sara's small fingers tightened around his sleeve. "But why can't I stay with you? I could help. I'd be ever so quiet, and I wouldn't trouble you at all." Her father's smile was sad. "Oh, Sara, if only it were that simple." The cab halted before a grand but austere building, Miss Minchin's Select Seminary for Young Ladies. Its brick facade loomed over them, the windows gleaming like watchful eyes. Inside, Miss Minchin herself greeted them, a woman as tall and stiff as a lamppost, her black dress rustling like dry leaves. Her sharp eyes swept over Sara before stretching into a practiced smile. "What a lovely child!" she exclaimed, clasping her bony hands together. Sara studied her silently. Why does she say that? She wondered. She knew she was not particularly beautiful, her nose was too small, her chin too pointed. But then she understood. Miss Minchin's smile was not for her, it was for her father's wealth. Captain Crewe, ever trusting, beamed with pride. "Sara is a bright girl," he said. "She speaks French fluently, adores books, and has quite the imagination. But I do hope she makes friends here. She's always been a bit solitary." "Of course, Mr. Crewe," Miss Minchin simpered. "She will be most happy with us." For the next 7 days, Captain Crewe spoiled Sara shamelessly. They visited the finest shops, returning with trunks of velvet dresses, leather-bound books, and, most precious of all, a magnificent doll with a wardrobe fit for a queen. Miss Minchin watched with thinly veiled disapproval. "Such extravagance for a child," she muttered to her timid sister Amelia. "She looks more like a princess than a pupil." But Sara cared little for finery. What she treasured were the hours spent with her father, listening to his stories, memorizing his laughter. Then came the morning of his departure. Sara stood stiffly in her new coat, her small hands clenched at her sides. She would not cry. She would not. "Be brave, my little miss," Captain Crewe whispered, kissing her forehead. "Remember, I am always with you, even across the sea." And then he was gone. That night, Sara sat in her room, clutching her doll. "Emily," she whispered, for she had named her, "Father wants me to be happy. So I shall be happy." But the silence of the empty room pressed in around her. In time, Sara found companionship. Ermengarde, a plump, forgetful girl, adored her instantly. "How do you invent such wonderful stories?" she sighed one evening as Sara spun a tale of a lost kingdom beneath the sea. Sara smiled. "The stories are already there. I just let them out." But not all welcomed her. Lavinia Herbert, once the school's darling, seethed with jealousy. "Oh, Sara is so perfect," she sneered to her followers. "So clever, so rich, no wonder Miss Minchin favors her." Sara never retaliated. She had learned early that unkindness was its punishment. Yet as the days grew shorter and the nights colder, Sara often gazed out her window, imagining her father's ship beneath the same stars. Will he come back soon? And though she did not know it then, her greatest trials and triumphs were yet to come.